Are you ready to create a life you crave? Let's spin that doom loop of negativity into an upward success cycle and start living lucky.
Good morning.
I'm Jana.
I'm Jason.
And we are living lucky.
You are too.
We love creating dreams. We love talking about dreams. We love hearing what other people's dreams are and then helping them push toward those dreams.
Yeah, let's create dreams together.
And this has been our MO from the very, very beginning of Living Lucky is what's your dream?
It's just been fun. It's been a fun experiment.
It's fun. Tell us about the group that you're in.
Yeah, so Dream Builders. And I got lucky to hear about it about 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was from a South African general who's in our neighborhood.
Right.
And he said...
he knew what we had been up to.
Yes. And he said, Jason, what you and your wife are doing, you would be perfect for our Dream Builders Club.
Okay.
And
now I remember him saying that, and then weeks and weeks went by before you got the actual invitation. And it wasn't until I actually ran into the same guy while he was walking his dog, and I said, "So when are you going to invite Jason to that Dream Builders group?"
And I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, because I was bold.
I had asked him 3 or 4 times between, and he would say, "Yeah, I'm going to get you that. I'm going to get you that." And what he told me was, he said, I saw you. I know that you were doing a lot of things, and I didn't think you were ready to come in.
He said that to you?
Yes. And I don't think I was. I mean, they're serious. Like they're doing big things. And it's a group of about 18 guys. They get together at 6 a.m. one Friday a month.
Right.
And they talk about, it's an open space to just discuss your dream. And a dream is bigger than yourself.
So I'm going to stop you right there because I want to say, first of all, for men to get together, because it's men only, for men to get together and to express their dreams, I think that's huge. I think that's so huge because most men don't really talk. They get together to watch the football game, or we
don't face each other.
They get together to play golf. And, some of the biggest business deals are made on the golf course. Well, it's because they don't have to look at each other in the eye.
Yeah, the only time we look each other in the eye is when we're shaking hands and we're greeting each other, get to know each other, and then we turn to the side and we talk looking out at the sunset.
Men do not like to chit-chat at all. I mean, we go to Thanksgiving every year, and you're with your family, and the chauffeur not
we
putting
look out
the
over, we look out over the lake
down.
and we talk.
Yes, they're like, "Hey, so how are you? Good. How are you? Great.
And I'm getting much
family
more...
okay? Yep. How about your side? Yep.
Doing real good.
Not too shabby.
If we were doing any better, we'd have to be twins.
Yep. And then it's like, well, let's go get some pie.
Let's get another turkey leg.
And good catching up with you this year.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Then it's another year before you have that surface.
Now we can stand in this big circle as a family and share news, but it's hard to stand right across from each other. Yeah, I'm getting much more comfortable sitting right across from someone, looking them in the eyes, like feeling their energy and going deep into what they want out of life, what's exciting them, what that big thing is that they want to create for themselves
and you
in the world.
Can actually see it in their demeanor and in the way they, when they start talking about what they really want, they light up a little differently, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and a big part of that is for me, because I'll be honest with you, the first time I sat in there, I cried. I cried telling my dream. I know I didn't tell you this, and I got goosebumps telling about it now because it was so liberating. Because I'd never articulated out loud what I really wanted to other people, like to other powerful men and other people that I thought they're either going to think I'm silly, they're either going to think I'm crazy, or they're just going to laugh me out of the room, whatever. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I was scared, and I was concerned that I hadn't thought it out fully.
That might need to be our next podcast is why are we scared to articulate our dreams? Because I face that exact same thing, Jason.
I think what happens is we our soul knows what we really want.
Yes.
Like when we know, like, because we've done a lot of work. We've done so much work over the last 10 years of really peeling back the layers and getting down to who am I and what are the things that I really want out of life, and how do I want to impact the world, and what kind of contributions do I want to make? What are the experiences that I want to have? What's going to make this life really mean something?
Yes.
And when we get down into it, then we get back to really, for me, who was I when I was 4 or 5 years old? And what was I doing then? Like I was exploring the world and I was helping people. And I was so excited about doing that. And I was loving everyone so fully. And
you often talk about just being a kid and going on adventures, getting on your bicycle.
I mean, I was dirty. Honestly, I was making a mess, but people loved me.
You're still living your dream, honey.
I know. People love me.
You're making messes and people love you.
And people were laughing around me, and they were talking about how I would go from our house to all the neighbors' houses looking for things to help someone else. Like if I overheard a neighbor saying, I really need this, I would go search the neighborhood and maybe the next neighborhood over to find it.
Yes.
So that they would have what they needed in life.
I love that.
And that's like, I want to be a builder. I want to be someone that is able to add to the world.
Yes.
And because we all have things that we're not using, like the whole planet is full of all the resources that we need, and we're not maximizing the utility of them. So this is one of those things where I was able to express this dream that I've had, but I was told when I was 6, like, you're not enough. You're too small. You're going to get hurt. You can't do these things. And I just lived in that, and I started adjusting towards things like these smaller dreams.
Yeah, because I will say that you have also expressed, I don't think that I'm speaking for you, but you've also expressed that you kind of played I don't want to say clown, but you kind of played a goofball role sometimes in your...
I did, because I was kind of labeled as the screw up. Because one of those things was, it hurt when I was told you're not enough. So instead of, when you're young, you don't have the faculty or the capacity to really handle those hard hit, like when something hits hard,
right,
and crushes your dream.
Yes.
You either just, I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't know all the ways that you handle this. The way I handled it was joke, make someone laugh.
Yeah.
So
it's a defense mechanism.
Why don't we turn my utter pain and hurt into
joy,
something that makes people laugh, so I don't cry.
Wow.
And then what I did was I said, you know what? Well, whenever I feel a certain way, or whenever I feel like someone else feels a certain way, I will use humor. So that's what I lived in, is if I ever felt like an awkward situation came up, or and so that's why, like, laughing at a funeral or something gets tense, here comes the inappropriateness. And it still comes out. It's okay. I don't mind. Like, people think less of me, whatever. I don't care, because it's coming out of love is what it is.
No, when Jason met my family for the first time, there was silence at the table. And the first thing you did was you just started talking nonsense to make people laugh. And it was absolute nonsense that came out.
Your dad said, is he on drugs? I found this out later. I was like, and I thought I should be offended. Like, I was like, oh no, how do I repair this? Because I was hurt, but I was like, how do I explain who I am and like what's going on? But I had no faculties about that at the time.
So laughter is your go-to defense mechanism.
Yeah.
It's the way you protect yourself.
So And I felt so free and open in this group of men. So first thing we do is when we get in there at 6 a.m.
Yes.
So we get there at like 5 till 5. We have breakfast. We pray in the meeting just to say, hey, we're here. This is completely safe and open. And I felt open and safe. And the words just came out of my mouth of what I wanted and all these things. And I was like, and I said, you know what? I struggle. And I feel like sometimes I'm trying and that I do screw up. And sometimes I feel like I try and because I'm trying to prove that I try too hard and I try to overdo. And because I try to overdo and I go beyond my natural pace, that I screw up. Because,
I'm getting teary-eyed
because
right now.
I try to, because
I hope you never feel that way around me. And I know that there's been times when you have felt that way. And from my perspective, you are the jackpot of life. So I know that you have felt that way before, and I don't want you to.
So the only way I know how to really describe this, so people understand what that looks like in my world, is when you're trying to prove that you're capable or you're trying to prove your worth or value, is almost the visual that comes to my mind is clearing the dining room table. And there's so many dishes, but you're like, oh, I want to help. So I'm going to grab all the dishes in one trip and take them to the sink.
And then
now you know that you're an excellent dining room table clearer. I can do this. We can all do this very well and very easily. But I want to show you that I'm so good at it because I want you to be proud of me. So I'm going to do it all in one trip. But when you try to go beyond your pace and beyond your capacity,
then you
drop spill
the
dishes, you drop a plate, you drop a cup, it shatters on the floor. Now it's a big mess. And you're a screw up again.
You were trying to
So
help.
you've created the same thing again.
Yes.
And now you're hurt. And now you have to create
your mom
the
is
life.
like, just go in the other room so I can clean this up.
Right. So now you're again the screw up. So that's what I'm talking about, where you say, okay, find your sacred pace. You can go harder. Like you don't have to go.
Right. So let's stick to the dream builders.
But it's
so
just
you
been,
all come together.
It's been impactful.
And you express what your dreams are.
And it's not about joining someone else's dream.
It's just saying
it out loud. It's just about
loud.
saying it out loud. Because when you put it out there, if someone else feels called to it, they're welcome to help you. They're welcome to say, hey, I know someone that's kind of on that path. Mm-hmm. They may be able to offer insight. It's a beautiful thing. And it's just been amazing. Some of the dreams that have actually already come to fruition are incredible.
And I feel like that is what we started doing when we would ask people, what's your dream? What's your dream?
Absolutely. And more people need to be thinking about their dream, because so many people in the world are just not talking about their dreams. They aren't even thinking about their dreams.
Do you have an example of a dream that's come true in this group that you're in?
Well, yeah, they've built massive schools in Africa. They've built a monument out in California. And we're talking like millions of dollars worth of things. They've done movies. They've created several movies that are faith-based movies out of this one group. This group is 20 years old.
Wow.
And the founder of the group, Kenan Birch, has got diagnosed 8 years ago with cancer, and a couple of years ago, I think, with pancreatic cancer.
And I will say something about Kenan, because I've been to a couple events now where Kenan has been there. He
packs the room.
Attracts so many people that want to support him. And the reason they want to support him is because he has helped people follow their dreams.
Think about, and I think and he doesn't use the terminology we use where it's defined and designed, but it's when you help someone put words and thought behind their own dream.
And know their divine design.
Yes.
I mean, and again, he doesn't use these exact same words, but we are speaking of the same thing. It is getting in connection with
an alignment,
your highest self, the universe, God, and saying, what is it that I was created on this earth to do? What did my soul come to this planet to do?
Because that's what satisfies your soul.
Yes, that's what lights you up. That's what it's called, living in spirit. It's inspired. In spirit is inspired.
I call it living lucky.
And we call it living lucky, but it's living in spirit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is, because there's an energy there. And when you really tune into that frequency, the right people, the right place, the right
opportunity,
time, the right opportunities, and it does feel like you're living lucky.
It's a vortex of success, and just it's beautiful.
Now you have to do your part.
Right.
That's the thing, is you have to take action and do your part. And sometimes that means really becoming aware of your thoughts, becoming aware of your feelings. So, I mean, it's a little more complex than that, but it's living in spirit.
And I think that's the beauty of having these 15 guys, 18 guys, 20 guys, however many people show up on a monthly basis.
Yes.
Because we get to start saying, okay, well, what actions are you taking towards this? Like,
you keep each other accountable.
It's almost like having a coach, but we have our own coaches, and most of the people in there have a coach.
So it's
beautiful because it's this rising tide. It's almost like you can visibly or consciously see this rising dream machine happening.
Yes.
Every month.
I love it. I love it. Good discussion. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Keep living lucky.
Bye-bye. If the idea of living lucky appeals to you, visit us at startlivinglucky.com.